Welcome to MindShareTV, where we highlight exceptional EdTech innovators advancing the future of teaching and learning. I'm your host, Robert Martellacci, founder of MindShare Learning Media, and today we are spotlighting one of the standout success stories emerging from the Siakam EdTech Engine Demo Day, an initiative powered by the DMZ and TMU, Pascal Siakam's PS43 Foundation, and Google for Startups. This year's cohort showcased building transformative solutions. The top award winner of $30,000 went to the company Reshaping how students learn to navigate the digital world safely. And that company is Cyber Legends, a trailblazer in cyber safety education. And joining me today are two exceptional leaders and co-founders who built the Cyber Legends team and vision, James Hayes and Cheryl Hayes. James and Cheryl, welcome to MindShareTV and congratulations on your big win. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us, Robert. It was great to know that you wanted us to join, and certainly happy to be here.
Amazing. We've known each other for a few years now. It seems like light years, but you've done so much in a short time. Mm-hmm. And kudos to you for your passion and making an impact. James, let's begin with the founding journey. And Cyber Legends is gaining national recognition for its innovative approach to digital citizenship and cyber safety and education. We can perhaps touch on the recent news in Australia where they banned social media for, under the ages of 16. What sparked the idea?
Well, it's interesting because Cheryl and I both worked with another software company, and one of our employees there, two of our employees came up with a name and a company called Reconfig, and they wanted to work in the space of B2B cybersecurity. And they asked if we could get involved, put a little bit of money in, and did some mentoring. And very quickly, we realized it was not a very fun space to be in. It was commoditized, and quite honestly, it wasn't a ton of impact. So we all sat down together and we started looking at where in the world do we have people at risk where no one is focusing. And very quickly, we saw that our elderly and our children are not taken care of when it comes to digital literacy and cyber safety education. Very much fraud-based and financial when it comes to our elderly, but for our children, very much bullying, predatorial, sextortion, all of the scary things that we see. And we realized that in Canada and the US, there was a huge gap in that space. I am a survivor of child abuse myself. And so for me, from a founding perspective, I wanted to make sure that one of these in the home or the school of any child comes with the education on how to use it correctly and safely. And so we pivoted away from B2B. That was about 4 years ago, and renamed the business Cyber Legends. We have three other founders, Dave Brebner, Jared Rychek, and Farzin Habibpour. And we dove into this process of learning the EdTech space. And that is our founding story. It originally started with Farz and Jared, and then the rest of us came over when we switched to Cyber Legends.
Incredible. It's compelling to hear how clear the vision and purpose translated into a platform that is truly resonating with schools and families. Did you want to chime in at all on that, Cheryl, or did James cover that off adequately?
He did a really great job of covering that. And I guess the only thing that I would add is that as we were starting to build and evolve our platform, we came to realize how many people, even in our circle, were being impacted by the fact that kids were lacking the skills and the knowledge to use technology safely and ethically. So there really was that need, and that reinforced our mission.
Brilliant. Let's jump in on the unboxing portion of this podcast. Cheryl, let's take me through Cyber Legends for our listeners. For those of you who may be discovering your platform for the first time, walk us through the product experience. What does Cyber Legends look like in action? I love the branding. Kudos to you, on point with the branding. I'm a big fan of the brand making sense of what it is instead of some esoteric brand that you need to figure it out. And what makes your approach so effective for students?
Well, it's for students and for teachers, I would say. So building our platform was really a combined effort of our team, but also PhDs in curriculum, our teacher network. Our director of education is actually an ICT. So we got so many minds that came together to build a platform that was easy for teachers to use and made it engaging for students. So one thing that was important to us was having all of the content available in one dashboard so they're not searching around all over the place. Having a set of resources that were like the defined, I call it the resource bundle, but just a defined set of resources for each of the topics. And of course, the biggest thing is that curriculum alignment. So not only are we aligned to the phys ed curriculum, but also Ontario's language curriculum as well, making it easier for teachers to implement these lessons in their classroom.
And one point, Cheryl, just for the listeners that are outside of Ontario and in the US, we're also curriculum aligned to 50 states in the US and every province and territory in Canada, both French and English.
Yes, thank you for that, James.
Wonderful. I just got back from the US, so it's very relatable to me right now.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Cheryl.
No, very valid point. And yes, to your point there, James, we are also available, our platform and our resources are available in both French and English. Each lesson and each topic has their own card, which allows it to have that really individualized approach. Curriculum alignment is always front and center so that teachers are able to reach it, to hit their outcomes. And then also having consistency. So each of our lessons and topics are designed to be sequential and build on one another. So as a child learns something in grade 1, they can then build on that knowledge in grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, etc. But that's not to say that they couldn't start learning in grade 4 and take that information going forward. We also took various approaches to activities. You'll see here that we've got not just actual activities, but we've got game-based learning that has been built into our platform. And I like to call it a game-based approach to comprehension with trivia games and multiple choices and matching games, as well as videos not for the students to use in the classroom, but also for teachers to upskill when it comes to our EduBytes solution.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. You know, you're meeting the kids where they're at. Gamified learning is engaging, and you know that it's about that progression. So you're very much on point in my books, and I love the user interface. It's very intuitive and not complex and clunky, and appealing to the eyes with the colors too. So kudos to you for that.
Yeah, we're desktop compatible, both iOS and Android compatible for school boards that might have one-to-one with iPads or any Android devices. And ideally, really, the focus was if you fail in classroom teaching digital literacy, it usually comes down to one of two things. The first is teacher upskilling. You've got a whole workforce of teachers that are saying, how am I possibly going to teach something that I don't understand myself?
Right.
Second is time. Because if you add in, like Ontario did, digital literacy in the English curriculum as an English strand, they didn't add 20 extra minutes to the school day, and every minute's already accounted for. So that's why we created a very easy platform for them to be able to schedule. It works with their calendaring, and then also game-based learning that can be assigned and then done at home, so that you can actually have an individual child be able to do it in classroom during tech time or playtime. Cheryl often says, you know, on the share screen.
Smartboard, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're not really focusing on how you can upskill teachers while at the same time alleviating the time issue, you'll find a lot of the programs that are out there won't find traction in the schools.
Yeah, well said. Back to you, Cheryl.
Yeah, each of our, well, to add just one other last piece to our platform, we are live in various school boards, not just in Ontario, but across Canada and in the US as well, providing a solution that meets individual needs was important to us. So our platform and our resources have all been vetted from a diversity, equity, and inclusion standpoint. We are accessible in the sense that, you know, we use PDFs and Google tools so that they can be editable, and understanding that not every school board is one-to-one and not every child has devices at home. We do have the option to use in-class activities such as these ones, or that game-based approach, as James mentioned, either with a smart board or with individual devices.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's pivot a little bit to the accelerator experience and reflect for a moment. James and Cheryl, let's talk about experience in the Siakam EdTech Engine Accelerator. It's fascinating that NBA star has embraced this EdTech sector. Talk to me first about what he was like. I believe you had an opportunity to meet him.
Yeah. You know what? It was great to see that he's truly genuine about what he wants to do. You know, at 31 years old, someone in the audience that day, what are you going to do when you retire? And it was funny. He's quite humorous. He said, what, are you trying to retire me early? But he very much genuinely said, I want to make a difference. And with his foundation, he's already doing that right now. So the interesting thing about it, he was gracious, funny, and was really excited to meet the founders of all of the cohort that were there. And he's the real deal. This is not something he's doing for
remarkable. And he's from where?
Cameroon.
Yeah.
And he works with his family. Vanessa's sister is part of the foundation. Worked with a wonderful woman, Dakota White, that was a part of the foundation as well. And then everyone at DMZ that was co-facilitating. You know, shout out to Yinka and Rodney and the crew there. If you ask me what the big difference was, first off, it's because of Cheryl, because she's the one that actually found it, looked at it, applied for it, put everything together. It was. I almost feel like I'm taking your spirit child away here, Cheryl. She's like, guess what, guys? I've applied to this, and we did this, and then we got in, and then Cheryl and I were at all, either a majority or of all the different events that they had, remote and or in person. And the biggest thing is it's so focused on EdTech. So
it's brilliant, and they got another round they've introduced, I believe.
That's right. Yeah.
Fantastic. So the program is designed to uplift founders and make a meaningful social and educational impact. What was it like to participate in the cohort, and what did each of you kind of take away from the experience?
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah, it was so great to be in. This is the first accelerator that we've been in that, as James mentioned, was entirely focused on EdTech. So it was nice to have, to really dive into that and be surrounded by such incredible startups that are solving different problems really in education. So there was so much mind share. There was really, I think, like a camaraderie that was built and a real team effort where, even though, Cyber Legends was the first place or won the first prize, like I really do feel like we all kind of won and we were all in it together. Going through that accelerator and having the different businesses that were focused on helping solve problems in education be there to meet with us and talk us through some solutions was great. And then I might be jumping ahead here a little bit, but also being able to introduce the solution to Toronto Catholic and the school board in Indiana. Like that was just, there was so much value there to understand that it validates the fact that we are meeting a need and a need that they see as a priority to solve. Like just going into this with that was something that was really unique. I don't know if I'm speaking to.
Yeah, it's always impressive to see how founders leverage the accelerator to sharpen their solutions and scale impact. And, this is coming from, I did a little homework on you, 2 MBAs from Western universities. So you're no slouches there, but yet you have that growth mindset and listening and learning skills as we get older should increase, not decrease. And kudos to you for that, embracing that notion.
I mean, it's almost a bit of an oxymoron because thinking that you're fast, agile, and you're an entrepreneur in this space, and then we got into education, and education is not fast, generally speaking.
Right.
It's not agile. The funding models are very much hierarchy based around either state, province, federal, and it really takes patience and a humbleness to be able to work through to make a change, knowing that this isn't one. You see AI companies coming out and thinking, well, we're going to hit the ground running and we're going to be in every board within 3 months. No, we've been doing this for 4 years,
right?
Working with both provincial and federal MPPs and MPs around creating the environment to embrace cyber safety education, digital literacy when it's so difficult. And of course, in the US as well, as the 2 markets that we've been looking at. So it's funny when you say, yeah, we move forward and we embrace the change and we work so hard. And sometimes we're like, oh my God, is there any way for us to make more of a difference faster? Or do we have to continue to move at the pace that we're moving? And
But
you've been in it 18 years now, Robert, is that what you said?
30.
30. What a podcasting for 18 years. That's what you had. Yeah.
30.
Yeah, 30. So what's advice you give to a bunch of entrepreneurs?
They talk about the notion of moving slow to move fast, I think is the expression. And well, you guys are certainly well on your way to being leaders, and you hit my radar very quickly. And not everyone does that. You were strategic in your growth, and you've continued to evolve. So let's, for a moment, focus on the winning moment and the demo day. And I'm trying to pull up that image that we saw. We put it in our report, I believe, last issue, where you were on stage. What did that feel like? It was a journey to get there. Yeah. And what was it like?
Interestingly enough, the way that the DMZ and Google for Startups put the event together and the planning that went into it, it was spotless, seamless. Everyone knew what they were doing. I think we rehearsed the entire pitch competition along with the speakers, and 3 times the day before and twice on the day of, I believe. Wow. Oh, it was
the production. Made you work.
Pardon me?
They made you work for it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had to be there the day before, but what it made it is then you could adjust some of your slides, get comfortable on the stage, make sure all the tech worked. And funny enough, when you're we've done a lot of pitch competitions, and when you have IT issues, you've only got 3 minutes to pitch, and you got to get 1 minute of Q&A, and you've got to be able to make sure you hit your marks and connect with the audience. And they just did a fantastic job. If any entrepreneurs that are out there listening to this and wondering whether they should apply to the next cohort of the PS43 DMZ, it's a thumbs up from me. I think, Cheryl, they did an exceptional job. So winning, there was some talented groups in there. And the only thing that was interesting about it is that there were some teams like ours that were a little bit further along in our journey than others that were still in the ideation stage or the POC stage. And that was really interesting. All of us trying to make a difference. And
I knew I would find it.
You found it, yeah.
There you go.
The winning moment when they announced, it was pretty humbling, actually, because any one of us could have won the cohort. Any one of the founding teams in there. And create communities come out of it, like Cheryl said, which is interesting because for us to be able to now, we've got a Slack channel and are introducing new people into that community. But honestly, any one of the founding teams could have won, and it was humbling, and we were very proud to have won. It was lovely.
Well, it's about impact, and certainly you were striking a chord on a very, very challenging topic and addressing a real serious problem that obviously is global. And look at the outcome of what happened in Australia around social media being banned under the age of 16. So any thoughts on that? What would you say to that? You must have had a chat about that and whether or not we might see the same situation arise. I blogged about it on LinkedIn today.
Do you want to go, Cheryl, or do you want to go ahead?
I have some thoughts on it. I actually listened to a really interesting podcast about it this morning as well. I love the concept behind that. But I also, and I think James, we talk about this a lot, where you can have parental controls, you can block devices, you can block access to social media, but kids are pretty, they're incredible with technology and they'll find ways to work around it. I think where, we really need to focus our energy as well is shoring kids up with the education on the safe, ethical, effective use of technology, of AI, of social media, and what it's like to be, a citizen in the real world and a citizen in the digital world. And I think banning and having regulations in place is so critical. But putting that responsibility solely on, social media companies, I don't know is necessarily going to really solve the problem. I think that as globally as communities, corporate, not just social media, but corporate organizations, schools, families, and communities need to come together and find a way to support the educational underlining and not just put a ban in.
Yeah.
Very well said. Totally agree. James, you wanted to chime in on that?
Yeah, it's further to what Cheryl said, the idea that, it's a small number of companies that they've banned. For instance, they didn't ban Roblox, and the predatorial, I have to be careful. The things that go on in gamified platforms that have chat, that is public, that anyone else can go out and see. Well, some weren't banned. Some were banned around social media. But the question is, the threat that is with our children around AI literacy, which is now incumbent with digital literacy, that is incumbent when we start giving our children devices. And that education should start probably in preschool, toddlers. If you're giving a child a device at 3 to 6 years
100%.
old, then we age appropriately start that process. Now, to support that, I do agree that children shouldn't have social media until they're 16. I agree with that. But the idea of what Cheryl talked about, they're never going to ban everything. So this is not a silver bullet. These 7 companies have been banned, but there are thousands of softwares that are out there and more to come every year that you can't ban or that you won't keep up. So the real question is what is a national digital hygiene solution that can be supported to teach children age appropriately when we're giving them devices?
And absolutely. So, and, of course, parental engagement is absolutely paramount. Parents need to model, education needs to step up. It's a team sport, right? To educate kids to ensure their safety, and that whole notion of multi-literacy, it brings in, cyber safety. It brings in, AI literacy is now a literacy, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's you'd hate to say it, but it is a big, scary world, and we need everything. We need regulation. We need enterprise partners. We need education. We need federal and provincial, not-for-profit, academia, and companies like us, because it's not going to be in Canada's national cybersecurity plan. It calls for a whole of society partnership. That's what it needs to be.
And I know you're passionate about that, and you're going to be doing some work around that. So look forward to the opportunity to perhaps team up with you on that, because we strongly believe in that as well. What educators need to know? Cheryl, for teachers, school leaders, and parents tuning in, what should they understand about adopting cyber legends? How easy is it to integrate in the classroom? And what outcomes can they expect for parents as well, I presume?
Absolutely. We are, I guess I should say that we are a paid solution. And we are technology that is integrated into the schools and the school boards. So typically, Cyber Legends is easy to sign up for, especially if you've got board or school approval. Teachers would get access to a dashboard. We've got built-in tutorials that take them through each one of the steps and each one of the functions in our dashboard. Our resources are basically, we like to say plug and play. The lesson plans are designed to match up with the slides, the activities, etc. Plus we have our EduBytes videos that are built in to help with any upskilling or bridging any knowledge gaps that might be there with the content. But yeah, really, you can always just reach out to us at Cyber Legends and get that process started.
Awesome. Final thoughts to share. James, what's next for you guys?
Well, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but what we've seen recently is we've seen Ontario leading the way with creating digital media literacy in curriculum from K to 12. And we see other provinces and territories matching that as a solution moving forward. One thing that we've also seen is recently Ontario has created a funding model and a vendor of record process to vet suppliers to make it easier for boards and schools to be able to bring in solutions. And that, from what we've seen, is full funding for K to 12 in Ontario. And we are patiently waiting, as you say, the outcome of the Supply Ontario vendor of record process. So what's coming is governments that are really taking this seriously. And then in the future, what we see is coming is a real mind shift. If you think about why is Canada so far behind on digital literacy as opposed to the US? Well, the issue that we have is because we have a federal mandate for public safety and a provincial mandate for education. And it creates a divide. So that if the federal government wants, from a national security standpoint, to initialize a program, they can't mandate education and vice versa. And so what we're working on next is an ability to bridge that gap. We're looking to have a summit and to be able to bring in the right federal ministers, hopefully the Prime Minister, if he's ever listening to this, as well as Minister of Education and enterprise, Indigenous communities, policing, not-for-profit academia, and create a summit around this problem so that we can bridge the gap between federal and provincial mandates that might be mismatched. With doing that, I think that we can leapfrog ahead by creating funding and the correct alignment for each province and territory. And that's something that we're working on very heavily now, in addition to just trying to get into as many school boards as possible across Canada and the US.
Well, I must say you are certainly on a great path to success, and with the impact that you're making early on in your infancy I would categorize you still as a startup 4 years later. James, Cheryl, thank you both for joining us on MindShareTV. Your work is not only timely, but essential as students navigate an increasingly complex digital world. Congratulations again on your Siakam EdTech Accelerator win. James, where can the audience learn more and get in contact with Cyber Legends?
Well, I mean, for instance, typically it's on our website, cyberlegends.com, spelled as it sounds. We're available on LinkedIn, and we're ready to hear from anyone that might be interested in working with us and helping us push forward the safety of kids.
Fantastic, and thank you to our viewers for tuning in. This is Robert Martellacci of the Mindshare Learning Report. Be sure to check out www.mindsharelearning.com to get your latest issue of the Mindshare EdTech Report. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep the learning curve steep.
Thank you.